Recording in progress.
Welcome to the Testimonial Tuesday rendition of our Pet Club 24/7 Zoom. And this is typically a call that we do Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursdays. We took this past Sunday off due to the observing Memorial Day. And so we've been away for just a few days. But Testimonial Tuesday, I love it because we get lots of great testimonials on our product. And our flagship product is called Enforce. And boy, does it ever make a difference. I've been in functional medicine for 45 years, and you worked very closely with traditional medicines, Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, and very aware of functional mushrooms, including the Coriolis versicolor mushroom. I've never seen results like we're getting with this version of it. And there's a reason for that. It's been used throughout time. It's been used as far back that we know, ancient Egypt. It's been used in ancient Rome, all throughout Europe, all throughout Asia. But it was in Asia that they incorporated it into their pharmacopoeia. In fact, there was a great reverence for it. In fact, in Chinese medicine, it's referred to as the cloud mushroom, actually Yunzi, the cloud mushroom. And even in writings all throughout traditional Chinese medicine, but one, which is the Materia Medica, the compendium of Materia Medica, a traditional Chinese medical book called Bin Cao Gang Mo, written by Li Xinzin in the Ming Dynasty, 1578, it's stated that the cloud mushroom, Yangzi, is beneficial to one's spirit, vital energy, strengthens one's tendons and bones. If cloud mushroom is taken for a long time, it will make one vigorous and contribute to a long life. It's been highly used in Asia. So the Japanese scientists, collaborating with Chinese scientists, researchers, doctors, etc., focused in on it starting around 1960. And actually, they discovered something. They discovered that not all of these varieties of mushrooms were the same. In fact, this one particular variety has 200 different versions of itself that grows all around the world. And they found a broad spectrum of potency in all of those different varieties. And so, of course, they searched for the one most potent, but modern technology allowed them to do that because now we could track all of the components, because something the ancients did not do. Modern technology and various techniques, including spectrographic techniques, allowed us to figure out what actually was making it so valuable. And it's a very broad spectrum of bioactive polysaccharides, also known as glucans. And these glucans are many and varied, as I mentioned, but the two that were really noticed in the Coriolis versicolor were PSP, polysaccharide peptide, and PSK, polysaccharide Cristin. And they noticed that the difference in those different varieties of those two beneficial ingredients was pretty remarkable. So they focused in and they studied the various polysaccharides and what they were good for. Cristin, PSK, was amazing with cancer. PSP was amazing to help with things like viruses and bacterial infections, etc. But that's just two of the many, many different polysaccharides that this brings to the table. In fact, the PSP is very effective against very stubborn viruses like oncovirus. An example of an oncovirus is the one that causes hepatitis C, which is known to be very difficult to treat. And HPV, which causes cervical cancer, also very difficult to treat. So we know that it's beneficial and have known for a long time, but them being able to standardize it around the most pure and potent strain was extremely valuable. And in addition, they studied the life cycle and found that it was in the mycelia phase that it was the most potent. And that's kind of counterintuitive. It's not even a mushroom yet. It's kind of like the roots. It's below ground. And it was infinitely more potent. So they focused there. And then they had to come up with a technique to extract it properly, and they were able to do that. Well, we have that product. There's an interesting story that one of the future founders of Pet Club 24/7, his mother was diagnosed with a very serious lung affliction and was sent to Sloan Kettering and was not given a very good prognosis, but she wanted to go through everything that they had, and they threw everything medically possible at her. And at the end of treatment, they weren't successful. They said that she had a month and a half to 2 months to live. And upon hearing that, the son decided he would let family members know. And so he started calling friends and family members. And a family member happened to be in Japan, a doctor who was working with a team of researchers perfecting this process and perfecting this, standardizing this mushroom. And upon hearing the mother's plight, said, "We're seeing amazing results in cases like hers. Would she try it?" Of course, the son said that they're giving her no hope. How fast can you get it here? Because they're not giving her long. So they expressed it over. Long story short, 4.5 months later, at Sloan Kettering, they declared her cancer-free, and they were shocked to find out, what did you do? And it had to do with the mushroom, especially since their therapies were unsuccessful. So they wanted to study it. That's where it all began. And the studies revealed that it was an amazing immune system modulator. And that's really what you want. You don't want something that stimulates the immune system, because sometimes the immune system goes out of bounds by being overly active. So you want modulation, which means getting it correct. And it was so amazing, the studies, that MD Anderson picked up studies and found the same thing. Loma Linda University, same. Harvard University, the same. American Cancer Society started sponsoring studies all over the US, in fact, to the tune of hundreds of published studies. And so they didn't know what to do with this amazing immune system modulator. In fact, they played around with it a little bit, and different people that had different things going on. And 9 times out of 10, these people's conditions would turn around. So they became a little afraid of it. They knew they were handed something amazing. They knew it had been offered to them in such a way that they needed to bring it out into the world, because it's a great gift. It's been a great gift throughout time, but it's never been standardized to this degree. So they were afraid of opening a people company. So one day they were having a cookout and just kind of discussing it, and one of them had put their dog down due to cancer. And 2 other people in the cookout said the same thing happened to us, and they began to wonder about it. They started talking about animals, and that animals seemed to be dying much younger than they were in the past, because these people had had pets in the past that lived longer, and they didn't die of cancers. They died of old age. And so they started wondering if this would work with animals. And when they looked into it, veterinarian schools were already picking up studies, and the studies were remarkable. So they found out, indeed, it does work with animals. So they thought, what a great doorway to bring it into the world. And this was 8 years ago. And 8 years ago, the pet industry was climbing and something of significance. So they thought it was a great doorway to bring it into the world, produce healthy pet products, including this mushroom. And it was much more significant than they ever realized, because within 2 years, the pets and animals that were experiencing this product were literally doing amazingly well. People were shocked, just like we were when our dog literally age regressed by at least 3 years when we started using the dog treats and the food and things. We were getting ready to put him down, and now he's back to how he was at least 3, maybe 4 years ago. So if I found this company 8 years ago and started my dog on this and watched that happen, I would be one of those people that would start eating the dog treats, because it was so amazing, and we're all mammals, and they started demanding a people product. So the owners of this company decided to make a compromise. They said, okay, we'll put human product on the website. However, we will not allow human testimonials. They just want to keep that on the down low. But that's why we have Testimonial Tuesday, because we we can do that independent just of ourselves and speak directly to the people that are getting results. And it's always so awesome. I myself has had great experience with it. My wife, many of my close friends. By February, I started calling people and letting them know the good news. I wasn't even thinking really of doing this from the business side because I just had experienced one of the greatest products in all of my years in functional medicine. People needed to hear about this. And that was my entire intention. However, by the end of February, I was blown away at how generous the company is and started thinking this is the most lucrative business opportunity that has ever existed. In fact, it plays in two very powerful arenas. The pet industry, which was big 8 years ago, has grown exponentially every year. And in the past 5 years, due to the COVID lockdowns, people started gravitating more to pets. So now 2 out of every 3 households actually have at least one pet. And people spend more money on their pets than they do themselves. That's a proven fact. And I think it's because of just that unconditional love and loyalty and friendships that pets offer. It's unmatched. And so they become family members very quickly, and people want them to live healthy and long. The cat's on board. Anyway, I totally get the situation that happened, and I'm very thankful that it happened that way. But the two arenas that we play in is not only the pet industry, 148 billion in 2023 and growing. It's expected to double by 2030. So it's a growing vertical market like crazy. But an even bigger industry is the immune therapy or immune modulation, more properly expressed. That is expected to be 1.3 trillion by 2032. I mean, it's going straight up. Because one thing the last 5 years has taught people, it introduced a lot of questions. It introduced some anxiety and fear. But the one thing that it left everyone with is we want our immune system. We understand now that our immune system is extremely valuable. And if there's a way to make sure that it's intact and functioning properly, we want to do it. So this is Testimonial Tuesday, and I want to get to that as quickly as possible. And I want to bring on Liddy Flom because she has some folks she wanted to introduce and bring on the call to give their testimonials. And we even possibly have Cristin Ludlow joining us at the bottom of the hour. And possibly Dyanah will be with her to share something very special. But Liddy Flom, if you are there, I would really appreciate if you could unmute and say hello. Liddy, by the way, is just crushing this. And she was one of the first people I called in February. She was actually calling me, so I think I was returning a call. And that was just providence because she is rocking and rolling. Liddy, thank you.
That's right, Dr. Jerry. I have to say that I found home.
Exactly.
You know what? When it is that you can actually just say to anybody, fear not, fear not. There's a way out. And you know what? It's nothing that anybody needs to fear when they understand the power that lies within us. And that when you align with that, then it's like, you know what? This little capsule can help 50 pounds of your disaster going on inside. So let's just call it, you know what? It's simple. The equation's not complicated. And here it is, a hidden treasure that can go and I like to call it, break it down, have the roadblock that's blocking the body's ability to peak perform, be removed. And so, and that's immune modulation. In simple terms, let's call it, let the waste be gone, right? What's wasting you away is the waste that's within the way. And once that's out of the way, life goes back to optimum health. So I have to say, I love it. So the first person that I called, Dr. Jerry, after you picked up in February, I was looking for you in December and then January. And then in February, you answered, and it was like a rejoicing day, Valentine's, right? Like, Dr. Jerry, thank you. I'm hugging you through the phone. And you apologized because you said, I owe you an apology because I thought that life was over. And I said, Dr. Jerry, what has you pick up the phone right now? Something's happened. You know something that maybe I don't know and I need to know. And he said, I'll send you a video. And I said, I'll be looking at it. And so with that being said, it didn't take long. One video, I said, I have one question. If it's doing that, what's the price? And let's have that discussion. And he said, well, 60 capsules in a bottle for $38.99. And I just said, $39. I mean, everybody can afford to be well. Yay. This is like, tell me the rest of the story. And I have been, with a lot of formulators over the years, 42 years of being in this wellness arena. And I will tell you one thing that there's a lot of research and development that goes into product formulations. And I said, there's no formulation here. It's God's hidden treasure. Sign me up. And with that, I just said, okay, what's the rest? And all the studies that I was looking at, they're all independent and they're not attached to the cost of the product. And that's why product cost is so much, is because somehow they have to, come back to, come pull the money out of the bank, so to speak, and, look at it profit center versus have it be a continual deficit spending. So with that being said, I just couldn't wait to get it. And so I want to introduce the first person that I spoke to, which was Monique Myrick. And she is somebody that looks at everything underneath the microscope. I said, I want you to look at something and I want you to tell me, don't do this. And so she said, well, tell me a little bit more. And so I'm going to let her tell the rest of the story. And then she's got a couple people that she's going to introduce. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for being the messenger, the kingdom ambassador. And when we do kingdom stewardship work and understand that God's hidden treasures are promised for us, here it is. We are being abundantly blessed. So I am so forever grateful for the whole story. Thank you, Dr. Jerry. Monique, if you would open up, that would be
Yes.
awesome. Thank you.
Yes. My love call came on February the 14th. And I was struggling with a respiratory that Dr. Jerry had been struggling with in December. So I heard what he had to say about what happened to him, that he had a virus that he threw everything at, wouldn't go away. In 2 days after he received this mushroom, it was gone. I didn't even ask the price. As soon as we hung up, I went to PubMed and just looked at mushrooms, and I got enough information. I hadn't even seen the 400 plus studies that started with Sloan Kettering. I signed up, ordered the product. I was unbelievably what I was coughing up, labored breathing. I got my product maybe a week and a half later, still going through all this. The day of getting the product, I was still coughing up green, labored breathing. I started one Enforce and one Enforce Plus, which includes the reishi, because when I looked up the mushroom, reishi it's number one for lung situations. So I took one each every 2 hours until I got 10 of those in me. I had no more mucus, no more labor breathing. I have used hundreds of products through the years, and I'm always looking for the best of the best. And I was blown away. So it moved up to number one immediately. And of course, I couldn't wait to share with people. Well, about 3 weeks ago, I had another onslaught of something. I think it was bacterial that went deeper into my lungs. And this is not usual for me to just have one thing after another. And what I came to is I don't know what I need inside. And I don't know really what you need. But what I want to stress that I've learned that if you have a friend that weighs 300 pounds, they need six, one for every 50 pounds, just if they were at 100% immune system normal, which we know no one is. And then four times that if they're dealing with something critical. Well, I increased my number to four, 2 and 2 of Enforced and Enforced Plus every 3 to 4 hours. And when I went to four, the deep congestion in my lungs lifted. I felt a change and I could start getting things up at least, but I was still fighting. I was literally fighting for air. And every time I thought, of course, I had friends say, when are you going to the doctor? What is your diagnosis? I don't know what the allopathic world would have said, but I did have really severe pain between the shoulders and the back. So it may have been pneumonia. But every time I thought, well, maybe I need to go get an antibiotic, men's solution, I heard Dr. Jerry tell about his ER doctor friend who had access to everything in the traditional world, and he still died of respiratory. So I thought, I think I'm going to really go with my immune system that God made. God gets the glory for all of this. He made my immune system to really work if I give it what it needs. He made the mushroom to modulate it. So I went up to 5 every 2 to 3 hours. I was between 20 and 30 capsules of Enforce Plus a day. People say, that is so much. $20 a day, maybe, that may save your life is not a big exchange. And so I got through that. And then as I was getting better, of course, I threw everything else that I knew. I have technologies and things. So it was going, I was having a lot of things going on, but I discovered that I have black mold very close to where I sleep. And I thought, I believe that's part of the challenge in this succession. So we're in remediation for that. But what I want people to really grasp hold of, that whatever it takes, I believe this is the groundswell for our immune system in modulating it. I won't be without it. So I have 2 friends on our team that I'd like to introduce. Geneva, if she will come, open up her mic and tell what's happened with her. Actually, I saw her in the parking lot of Sam's, and she's into rescuing animals. So animals are a love of hers. Geneva, would you tell what's happened with you?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Uh-huh.
Okay. What's happened with me is the first day I went to your house, I got a gummy, a cookie, and a cup of coffee. And the next day I woke up and I did not have this big floater in my eye. It just left me. It didn't like me anymore. It just left. And it has not come back. And I am very healthy. So I'm thinking, what is this going to do for me? And I thought about it and I thought, if there's any way, if this mushroom is going to do something for me, it's going to cure my incontinence. Because I'm of that age, let's just say. And I thought, there's no way. Well, it did it. I don't know why. Dr. Jerry says I probably had a chronic inflammation in some part of that system that it helped dissipate. But I I no longer have to worry about peeing my pants if I go someplace. You know, it's just amazing. And at one, before I started the mushrooms, I live in a nice condo, but I couldn't, if I was in the kitchen and felt the urge, I did not have enough time to get to the bathroom. And I'm like, now, the other day I was way out someplace and thought I should have gone to the bathroom and I didn't. I got home, walked all the way through the house with no problem. Now, I know this is human testimonials, but my dog is so much better. He's a 5-pound Yorkie. He had gummy eyes, and I could not, when he sleeps in my bed, I mean, 6 pounds, come on. But at night, I could hear him breathe, and I could hear him snore. I can no longer hear him breathe or snore. And he had gummy eyes all the time. Even those are gone. And I took him to friends for a play day. And she said, I can't believe how much better he looks. Now, he is 14, so he's not a puppy, but he looks like a puppy now. I gave it to a friend of mine whose 14-year-old lab had a cyst in her stomach. They didn't know exactly which organ it was attached to, but she had not been, I mean, when I went over there, she just lay on her mat, was not interested really in life when I go to visit. And then they found out she had this cancer and there was this big growth in her stomach. The growth has gone down and she has started to enjoy life. Now, I mean, she started with 2 weeks of two capsules in the morning and 2 capsules at night over her food. She's now down to 1 and 1, and she's still going full speed ahead. Now, people want to know what I did to cure my incontinence. Basically, I took 3 in the morning, and in the afternoon, I would do a couple of gummies or a couple of cookies. There was always this, or not always, but because I'm not very good about meds or supplements, usually there was a supplement in the afternoon to the 3 in the morning. But that's all I did. And I am one happy camper. Thank you very much, Monique.
Thank you, Geneva.
Welcome, Geneva.
Jeannie is a friend, longstanding, and she actually told me at some point, don't ever call me about anything. I'm done with networking. Just don't call me. I love you, but don't call me. And I like the phrase of stay curious about what you do not know, because you may miss the extraordinary. So, Jeannie, are you on the line?
Hello.
Yes, Jeannie, tell us what is
You always
happening.
have to tell me that. And I get so excited, sometimes I misunderstand what she says. So I had been on, I think, a while back and give a testimony after I'd been on it like a couple of 3 weeks. And I had blood work done in January. And it wasn't very good. I had kidney issues, liver issues, high cholesterol. I had vitamin B12 was low, my D3 was low. And I thought, well, I'm going to reserve judgment, even though I'm seeing all these little things that are just, I can tell a difference, but I want to see it in writing. I want to see it in blood work, so that I can really tell people and show people. So, after I had been on it, Monique called me and she said I had the same thing she had with the respiratory, and she said, well, I took this, and this. And it really, got rid of it. And I thought, well, I'll order some. So I got on the phone, I ordered mine. It came in on the 20th. I ordered it on the 16th. I think it came in on the 20th. I took 5 at one time, and then every 2 hours I took an Enforce and an Enforce Plus till I got 19 in me. And
It ended.
What happened?
Jeannie?
Huh.
I don't know if her internet went out.
Sounds like it. Well, fortunately, we have Dyanah here along with Cristin Ludlow, and maybe let me pass the ball to Cristin, and Cristin can bring on Dyanah. And these are very, very special guests tonight, folks. And I really appreciate Monique, you, and Geneva. And I'm sorry that Jeannie didn't get her testimonial in, doggone it, but we'll do another one next week, and maybe we can get her on then. But anyway, Cristin Ludlow, amazing that you're here. Thank you so much. You bring so much to Pet Club, and you've been here the entire 8 years, and you're amazing for us. So
Thank you, Dr.
enlighten us.
Jerry.
Thank
I'm
you.
sitting on the edge of my seat in anticipation. I want to know what happened to Jeannie.
I know.
I think she joined back. I think she came back on. I don't
It's
know
like
if you.
watching a movie and then at
Yeah,
the very
yes.
end, just shutting the movie off.
Yeah.
Hey, Monique.
She's back. And she's gone.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Well, next week we have another opportunity, so we'll continue the movie next week.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Dr. Jerry. And like Dr. Jerry said, I've been involved with Pet Club now 8 years, and it has by far been one of the best decisions that I've ever said yes to. I'm so, so grateful what God has been doing through this company. And, Pet Club 24/7 has always been more about building a community really than about building a company. And it's just about being a voice for those that don't have one, and being a part of the restoration of creation, using what God has given us that's abundantly growing out in nature and giving people and animals access to it, and allowing things to work the way they were intelligently designed to work. So the work that we're doing is really powerful, and the good news that we're spreading is really changing a lot of lives. And Dyanah is one of those lives. She is such a dear, dear friend of ours. Her and her husband Dale are some of our best friends in the whole world. And her story, I thank God every single day for being there with an answer, that we had an answer for her. And she's going to share with you a little bit about it, but she's just an incredible human being. She's an incredible leader. She's a servant leader. She will do anything to help within her power. And I think that's one thing that I'm most grateful is the type of people that we're attracting with this Pet Club 24/7 community. Is we're just attracting next level people, very high level, very contribution focused, more focused on what we can give to others, what we can give to the world than what we can get out of it. And so it has just been such a beautiful community of people that are wanting to do as much as we can in service. And Dyanah really has a heart that represents that. So thank you, Dyanah, for taking the time to jump on and share your story with everybody.
Thank you, Cristin. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. And I am in the back there somewhere. There we go. Okay. Wow. Cristin, thank you so much. And, Cristin, you are the epitome of what leadership is. And you and Kurt have just done an amazing job at being our leaders, as well as a voice for those that don't have a voice. And Dr. Jerry, thank you so much for putting this together as you do. I'm going to share my story, but if it's okay, may I share a couple of other amazing testimonials, Dr. Jerry?
Please. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you can see this, but this is Daphne. Daphne is a Great Dane, and Daphne is very sick. Look at her little ribs. Daphne came to us through an event that we did. I go around and anytime I can talk about animals, I talk about animals. I do a little talk about traveling with pets, and everybody kept saying, "Have you seen Daphne? Have you seen Daphne?" And I said, "No, I haven't seen Daphne. What's going on with Daphne?" Well, they brought Daphne over, and oh my gosh, Daphne had poop that was just running. We gave Daphne mush ponies because she's a big girl, and we gave her 2 every 4 hours. 5 days. We were at it like we were at a very big event. I start hearing everybody yelling my name, and something was going on with Daphne, way where Daphne was at. And I was so afraid that maybe Daphne had collapsed or something because she was in pretty bad shape. And we went back, and Daphne had solid poop. And it's kind of a fun industry that we're in, that everybody was dancing and celebrating solid poop, right? And I've seen this so many times with people with horses and dogs that, that is a big sign. I want you to see a picture of Daphne 1 month later. Look at Daphne 1 month later.
Wow.
This is Daphne before. This is Daphne 1 month later. Daphne's been on our product now for 2 years and is doing fantastic. I'm going to read a couple quick ones, and then I'm going to tell you my story. We had a gentleman with stage 4B prostate cancer. His daughter contacted us and said, "I don't know what to do. I'm scared. He's not sleeping. He's in pain. He's shuffling when he walks, and I don't know what to do." And we started him on Corales versicolor mushroom. And, contrary to some people saying this is a cure, this is not a cure. This is not a treatment. It's very important that we all say that carefully. This is just support for the immune system. And I know, Dr. Jerry, you've been great about teaching that, but it is important that we say that. 4 weeks later, I got this message. "Dyanah, my dad just called me. And since he's been taking the mushrooms, he can sleep now. He hadn't been able to sleep before. He can walk without shuffling, not sure what's going on there. And his pain is down, almost gone. He hasn't been tired at all. And now he wants to know how he can get between 20 and 100 bottles." Thank you so much for sharing this with us. Thank you so much for telling us about this. Those kind of testimonials rock your world. And I always say, as a regional vice president with this company who's been involved with this company now for 7 years, this business has gone from my head to my heart. And I think that's so important for all of us, the difference that we're making. I'm going to give you another quick one. We had a little dog named Cooper. Cooper was in really bad shape. Cooper was having seizures. His back leg was shaking. Whenever he'd get up, he'd collapse. They were kind of at their wits' end. And we started Cooper on our special sauce. And this is the update that I just got on May 26th from Liz. "Good day to you. I just wanted to give you an update on Cooper. He's been on the mushrooms now for 4 weeks, and he's doing great. He's eating, drinking, and going to the bathroom regularly. He's not back to 100% yet. He still wobbles a little when he gets up, but he's doing so well. It's awesome to see him come and greet me at the door when I come home from work, and it's even better to see him trying to play with his toys. He comes in to see me in my bedroom every morning now. He hadn't done that for a while. What an improvement. Thank you for introducing me to the special sauce. I'm believing that this, with much prayer, has been an answer to everything that we were worried about." Again, you get stuff like this and you can't. First of all, when we see results, we know what we have works. And with animals, you can't pretend. It's not like people. Sometimes we can say, "Oh, I feel better." There's a great scene in a movie where it's called The Birdcage, where the woman is not doing well, and she said, "Oh, I need one of my Perrin tablets." And in comes the maid with this tablet, and the owner, the husband's like, "I can't believe you're giving her drugs." She goes, "It's just an aspirin. I just scraped off the A and the S." But she believes the Perrin tablets are curing her. With humans, we can be talked into things sometimes. We can talk ourselves into things. With animals, you can't do that. When we can see results like this, like Daphne, like Cooper, it's overwhelming. I'm going to read 2 more and then I'm going to tell you my story. I have a testimonial I would like to share with you about Enforce. Today, my friend and I went to see her son at the university horse barn. Any time previously that I went there, I began sneezing constantly and my chest tightened up as soon as I walked in that barn. I would be so miserable, I'd have to stay out in the parking lot. Today, I walked in and I didn't have any reaction at all. Not one sneeze, not one chest tightening. I felt great. I've been taking the Enforce now for 4 months. What a difference. Again, the person was taking Enforce for something else. And the body knew what to do. And the body and the immune system is so amazing that it went in and it repaired and it replenished and it rebuilt and fixed something that he really didn't even know he needed to have fixed, right? So really great. And then my last one before my story, Dyanah. This is from Janet. Janet had a dog that was 15 and a half, really having problems, and another one that was 13, also having problems. Great news, Dyanah. Smile face, smile face, smile face. Sophie's last blood test came back great. I'm still going to keep her on the super sauce, but because she is a senior, but I feel like now she is better. And Allie is also doing well. Please make sure that my order gets in this month because I'm not sure if you want to talk to me more about her auto ship. The point is irrefutable test results on this pup. This pup had liver enzymes that were in the 800s. And after 2 weeks, they went down into the 300s. And after about 4 weeks, they're perfect. So again, we know that this amazing Coriolus versicolor mushroom does so much for us. My story, and I'll keep it brief. I've been involved with this company for over 7 years. I had been sharing this product with people, with dogs. I have a very long history in the pet industry. I wasn't taking it myself. Maybe a decision that I will always regret, but at the end of the day, it all worked out the way it should be. February 2020, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. It was during pandemic. It was during the world lockdown. I was put in a line and told I had to wait for surgery. I had nothing in my toolbox except the Coriolus versicolor mushroom. I took 10 a day for the next 30 days. I prayed a lot. And then I got the call that I had been approved for surgery. I went in for my pre-op blood work. I came home. A few hours later, I got a call that the oncology department wanted to do a video conference with me immediately. A little bit scary to get that kind of a call, right? And there was my oncologist on screen with a big smile on his face. And he says, Dyanah, what are you doing? And I said, I think that was the most bizarre question in the world. What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm trying to stay alive. I'm packing a bag to go into the hospital. What do you mean, what am I doing? He said, you're in remission. Your numbers were off the charts. A healthy person with the colon cancer, your numbers should be 2.5. Yours were off the chart, but today they're 0.5. You are in remission. What are you doing? So I told him, he said to me, I know nothing about this. However, I want you to send me everything you have. We still need to operate. We still need to get this tumor out of you. And it kind of concerned me that this is a man of oncology and he knew nothing about the Coriolus versicolor mushroom, which in Japan, this is actually an approved form of cancer treatment. It's considered a medicine. I went in for surgery. I came through it like a champ. They felt I should do chemotherapy because I had an aggressive form of cancer. I read the 400 medical studies, not all of them, but I read a lot of studies from Sloan Kettering about how chemotherapy can be complemented by the Coriolus versicolor mushroom. And so therefore, I felt it would be a good match. I continued to take 10 a day. My numbers stayed at 0.5. I went through 6 months of chemotherapy. I did not throw up. I did not lose my hair. In all fairness, the drug I took only had a 50% chance of hair loss, but it had a 100% chance of hair thinning. Mine didn't thin. I had bad days. But most of my days, I look pretty doggone good. And people would say to me, "You don't look like a chemotherapy patient. You don't have that pasty white, depleted look." When it was over with 6 months later, they put me through the entire gamut of testing, as they do. And my numbers actually were better than they were pre-cancer. My bone dex scan improved. And if any of you know anything about chemotherapy, it destroys your bone density. I was osteoporosis prior to this journey. After 1 year of surgery, of chemotherapy, continued on 10 a day, my bone density had improved. I was no longer osteoporosis. So here I am, 5 years and 2 months later. I am still considered cancer-free. I feel better than I have ever felt. I just celebrated 67 trips around the moon and the sun. And I feel really great about what has happened because of this. Again, it is not a cure. It is nothing more than support for the immune system, that if you are given the proper support, it is capable of doing everything. And as far as being an affiliate with this company, I've never had any program be so generous. I was retired when I saw this opportunity. I wasn't looking for anything. I think God has a strange sense of humor and put this in front of me for a lot of reasons, but one was for my own health, and also to get out there and be a voice, because that's what we need to do. We need to shout this from the rooftop and help others as they go through their journey with their animals or with themselves. As a retired person, I had a budget, I had a nest egg, and we knew what we could live on for the next however many years we're here. But because of this generous rewards program, we haven't touched our retirement for the past 3 years. We have been able to do things we couldn't have imagined doing, remodeling our house. I had the air conditioning company out the other day because my air conditioner was doing some weird things, and I live in the desert. And when they told me that my air conditioner was going to be $15,000, I didn't panic and fall over, because I knew with this affiliate program that I have been blessed enough that I can take care of that. So for all of you that are on this amazing call with Dr. Jerry, he has put together such an incredible team of people. He's a good leader, and we're excited for all of you and what this journey might be for all of you. So that's my story, Dr. Jerry.
Great story, Dyanah. Thank you so much.
You're
And
welcome.
Cristin and Liddy and everyone that stepped up, Monique, Geneva, thank you so much. I love Testimonial Tuesday because this is what it's all about. And again, I'll reiterate just what Dyanah said. This doesn't treat, it doesn't cure, but you know what it does do? It does do very well. Life is a miracle. The very essence of life, our DNA, and all of the trillions of mechanisms that go every second of our lives, that we don't have to think about but happens. That's the miracle. And you support that, amazing things happen. That's what we do. We support life. So we support the miracle with something that God offered to us millennia ago. And it's just, we recognize it now, and it's been standardized now, and we have access to it. And it's up to us to share the good news. And if you're here for the first time, whomever referred you, they have a link. They have a link to this amazing product / opportunity that will go worldwide, because we have what everyone needs. Maybe they don't know it yet, but they're looking for it. So it's up to us to just share the good news, share these stories. We're on these calls Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. If you look at Pet Club, the resources, petsystemguide.com, scroll down a little bit, you'll see calls that go on literally every day, corporately, every day but Sunday. The morning calls are power, 15 minutes of sheer power. Get on the morning calls every morning if you can, if you're able to. It's 15 minutes. And you get a notice via text, you get a notice via email, whatever you've signed up for. That's all on petsystemguide.com. You can check it out there. You know how to get on it. Get on it. There's a training on Saturdays. We do a training on Wednesdays. So tomorrow, Hernan will be training, getting started properly, getting started the right way. Very important. So it's all here. It's just up to you to engage or not. It's up to you to share the stories or not. But I guarantee you, if you do share the stories, if you do get on board this mission, you will change lives and you will even save lives all around the world. So we've been blessed. God bless you all for being on this call tonight. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. We'll see you again tomorrow, hopefully on the training, and then we'll be back again on Thursday. Liddy likes to say thirsty for Thursday, thirsty for more information. Thank you so much. Thank you, Liddy, for bringing your team on. Thank you.
Thank you. Love to all.
They're best. Talk soon. See you soon. Bye-bye.